r/ask Reddit. What food used to be good but they changed the recipe and now it sucks? All Canadians ought to agree when I say everything at Tim Hortons. I remember the glory days when they used to make their own donuts in-house. Their sandwiches and coffee used to be a lot better. 2. It's not even Canadian owned anymore, but they've made themselves out to be some kind of shining beacon of Canadiana. I'm glad that people seem to be realizing how bad they've become. Ritz Crackers. For some inexplicable reason, maybe around 5 years ago the crackers went from being nice and firm and dippable to nowadays easily crumbling to bits with even the lightest dip. The flavor too is noticeably less buttery than it once was. Maybe they went on the cheap with whatever oil or shortening they use. Okay, it's not just me who noticed they are more crumbly. Half the chocolate in the UK since Cadbury's got bought by Kraft. Duck Kraft. I used to eat Cadbury religiously, cannot stand it anymore, to the point that I gave away all Easter choc that was Cadbury. Ugh. I used to think it was just because I grew up. When I was a kid, Cadbury's dairy milk was my most loved chocolate, and getting a Cadbury's Easter egg was like winning the lottery. Then as an adult it just became meh. It's okay. About on par with every other generic no-name chocolate. Like I said, I thought I just grew up and didn't like it anymore. Then I found out about the buyout and the ingredients change. My local Chinese place changed owners. That was my spot for 15 years. Then bam. New owners. New chefs. Haven't been back since. It's been 5 years. My wife gets annoyed when we walk past because I always bring it up. This has just started to happen where I live. The local place here just changed ownership because the owner died of old age. They're trying out new and exciting recipes that appears to be to just soak everything in fry grease for about 10 hours before cooking. Pillsbury cookie dough in a tube. About 8 months ago the package advertised great new recipe. It was not great. Call me a grouchy old man. But I full on wrote a letter to the company telling them I didn't like it and I would not buy it again unless they changed it back. I wrote a letter about Marie Callender's changing a frozen food recipe and they sent me a coupon for a free one, and by the time I went to use it the recipe had changed back. It was weird. They listened though. I must not have been the only one to complain. Breeze used to be the best for store-bought ice cream, but now it's just a crappy mess of what it used to be and is now considered a frozen dessert since it's anything but what it used to be. I also remember Wendy's burgers being much better than now. Chips Ahoy. I'm not sure if it's because I'm older now. I remembered as a kid they used to taste so good and cookie-like. Now it just tastes like a rock of sugar with chocolate in it. This goes double with the chewy Chips Ahoy. I was never a fan of the normal ones, but a decade plus ago the chewy ones were hard to pass up. Nowadays they taste like unsweetened crap discs. Don't know what happened, but Subway used to be ducking delicious, but now their food tastes artificial and doesn't have the same flavor. Panera has greatly disappointed me. They changed up all their shit, started calling it artisan and charged $2 more, and it sucks. The food is disappointing, and the service, at least out my way, is worse than the shitty fast food joints being staffed by dumbass kids. Everything Panera does is bad. Bland coffee, dull salads, soup from a bag, stale bread, they're horrible. Cadbury Creme eggs. I bought one a few years ago and could have sworn it was old stale, because the creme inside was nearly crystallized, and it tasted horrible. But nope, it was just a new recipe they were using for them. Never had one since. I lived on a steady diet of meatball subs at Subway in the late 1990s. They changed it completely by 2001. It's unrecognizable. That is the reason I stopped going to Subway back in the day. It was my go-to. Then after not going for a while I went back, got a meatball sub, and couldn't even finish it. Honeycombs. The cereal, not actual honeycombs. I swear it used to have an actual flavor to it, sort of reminiscent of honey, even, but now it just tastes sweet. Sort of like if someone replaced your malt oatmeal with cream of wheat. Still obviously the same kind of thing, but with a flavor missing. They actually changed it back. Honeycomb was my favorite cereal for a long time, and then they released a new flavor a while ago and I completely stopped buying it. Then they had boxes saying it's back, and I tried it again and it's the same old flavor I'm used to. Pizza Hut. They're still fatty pizza, but something definitely got low quality over time. If today someone was able to make something that tastes like their pan pizza from the 80s, I'd cry tears of joy. Burger King's chicken nuggets and fries. They used to be the best. Now they are cheap shit. And BK changed their nuggets like 3 times in a few short years, which sucked. I felt they finally changed to a good nugget, something to give MCDs a run, and then they changed them to the cheap, frozen food section style of nuggets. Even my kid doesn't want them, and I swear that's all she ducking eats. Outback. When they went public, they downsized all their dishes and raised prices. You can tell some boardroom a-hole was all like, "Oh, downsize the Aussie chips and salads by making the presentation seem larger with oversized, random shaped dishes." I remember at one time you had to wait to eat there, and now, even at peak times, you can waltz right in. Still pisses me off. I used to love Outback. I went there almost once a month. Now it is more like once a year, and I leave disappointed every time. Turkey Hill peanut butter ice cream. The best ice cream in the world until they started putting in less peanut butter chunks, thinking we wouldn't notice. Oh, we noticed. Tim Hortons coffee. I don't know what they did, but it almost always tastes burnt, even when it's not. Steak at Chipotle. Used to be made rare. Delicious. Now well done. Not delicious. Everything my mom used to cook for dinner that I try to make on my own. Food always tastes better when somebody else makes it. Even if you replicate it exactly, it'll taste different. Chili's. It's so obvious they tried to cut costs with pretty much everything on what's left of their menu. All bottled barbecue sauce is now way too sweet. KFC. Strangely, I ate at a KFC in Athens, Greece a few years back, and it tasted like the KFC I had as a kid. I honestly couldn't believe it. Went back 3 times and ordered different things each time just to make sure. I have no idea what they did here in the US to duck it up so bad over the last few decades, but it's good to know it still exists somewhere. When I was in Girl Scouts, I obviously sold cookies each year as a fundraiser. Now there are 2 Girl Scout cookie bakers, ABC Bakery and Little Brownie Bakery. Each council gets to choose which bakery they use. The bakeries are required to make Thin Mint Samoas, Caramel Delights, and shortbreads, trefoils, but both bakeries also sell tagalongs, peanut butter patties, which are like a Reese's cookie. A couple years ago I met a family who lives several states away, and in that state they used Little Brownie Bakery. Their lactose intolerant daughter loved tagalongs, but couldn't eat them anymore because they had changed the recipe and now it has milk. But where I lived we use ABC Bakery and they still don't use milk in the cookie. The family ended up buying almost 4 cases of tagalongs from me. Each box is $4 and each case has 12 boxes. They spent almost $200 on Girl Scout cookies. Kraft Deluxe Mac and Cheese. When I was a kid, there used to be so much macaroni in the box and the cheese was so thick it would take it so long to melt. Now they changed to a different pasta that takes so long to cook and still isn't soft, and the cheese isn't the same at all. Arby's horseradish sauce. Back in the early 2000s, it used to be so potent it was a very good stuffy nose remedy. Now it's not, Pringles. I don't know what changed, but they don't taste nearly the same. Sour Patch Kids. Once they added that blue flavor, I think they changed the recipe of all the others. They now all are thick and hard, where the old ones were really nice and soft and chewy. Lemon was my favorite flavor before because it actually tasted like real lemons, but now it tastes like unbearable artificial lemon flavor. I'm from the UK, but my dad used to bring Fruit Loops back from America a lot. Notice they massively dulled in taste, were never the same. Also Tuck biscuits, if anyone knows what they are. Gardettes when they got rid of the sesame seed cracker slash stick. Now I just buy those bags of pure pumpernickel chips. Canadian Smarties. They totally changed the flavor of the chocolate maybe like 10 or 15 years ago, and now they taste awful. Marie Callender's microwave meals. They used to be awesome and tasted amazing. I noticed a huge drop off within the past few years to the point where they are just like any other cheap microwavable dinner, which sucks. I was a chef and I liked their meals before, so that's telling. Specifically, it was their chicken fettuccine alfredo with broccoli that I used to love, but they changed the recipe and took away the pepper packs that it used to come with. Now it's less creamy, fairly bland, less chicken, and less broccoli. Kirkland protein bars. They changed something in the formula that now gives me brutal gas. While the extra farting is fun at home, I don't want to feel all bloated and gassy in a 10 AM meeting at work. My friend's dog ate an entire box of these when he was unsupervised. The dog is okay. Anyway, the dog ran around the yard farting and yowling for an entire hour. It didn't look fun. McDonald's apple pie. Taste good but just not the same. Campbell's clam chowder soup. It used to be thick and have plenty of clams. A decade or so ago they changed it to be watery and have more potatoes. Tuck crackers. Wagon wheels. Twix. Twix in particular is a mere shadow of its former self. Hear me out. I really hope someone can chime in here, but I seriously think Doritos have had less cheese powder for the last several years. The problem seems to be worse in the small bags. Boston Market mac and cheese used to be awesome, but I think they changed their recipe for the cheese sauce a few years ago and it hasn't been the same. Cholula hot sauce. I don't know if they actually changed anything or if my tastes just changed, but it used to be my go-to hot sauce and now it has this metallic flavor to it. Thought maybe I got a bottle from a bad batch or something, so I bought another but had the same results. Andy Cap hot fries and cheddar fries. They once were a bag of delicious, but now they are bland and taste stale even when fresh. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.